We're joined live via Zoom by the Minister in the Presidency, Mondli Gungubele. Minister, a very good morning to you. Thanks indeed for your time. Talk to us this morning about the aim of this district development model.
Good morning, Griselda, and good morning to your viewership, and thanks for the opportunity. The DDM is a president-led model. Its intention is to ensure that there's coherence, there's consistency, there's continuity in the relationship between all spheres of government. The intention is to ensure that we complement each other with regard to logistical capabilities, skills capabilities, resource availability, and so on. And we're able to have a single plan, single budget, single program in a given area. This seeks to ensure that things that tend to either overlap and be delayed or obstructed, or things that tend not to go because of lack of particular skills, our presence at the same time, at the same place, do ensure that that complementarity takes the program forward. I am here today, yesterday, and today on inaugural basis, coming for the first time in Harry Gwala, which has got huge challenges in terms of roads infrastructure, aging infrastructure, water security, sanitation, and unemployment, and a number of other related things, in particular when it pertains to historically disadvantaged communities in South Africa. But I'm here having seen against that there are green shoots in terms of housing units in the area of Topo, housing units in Kokstad. One of the most impressive things is that in Kokstad, where they are building no less than 200 units, 35% share of that job goes to workers, 30% goes to SMEs. Again, they have a dream of being a leader in service provision, of being a leader in tourism, and tapping on agriculture as a sector. Already with regard to water, they have been able to make intervention in anticipation of a big dam in Bulwer, which costs no less than 600 million, but on the interim, they have been able to construct a way that makes it possible for people in Topo and Bulwer to have access to water.
Yes.
If you go to Kokstad quickly, Griselda, there is an interchange which is actually ran by Salga of no less than 563 million. And the intention there is to unlock that interchange so that business can come close and invest. No less than 76 people are employed there, and SMME is also getting opportunities. I'm trying to say there's a series of green shoots. There's a long way to go in as far as access to sanitation, access to water, access to healthy roads, and so on.
Yeah. Minister, why now, some would ask? Various communities have been complaining about access to water, access to housing. Why now, when communities have long been complaining about access to some of the basic necessities, and these are functions that your government was supposed to carry out?
Well, I guess, Griselda, you may create an impression that there's an option that because we didn't do it, because we failed to do it at some stage, we mustn't do it now. Because we didn't do it before, it remains needed, it remains to be done. Because people are still in need of what we didn't do well before, it doesn't mean we mustn't do it now. Because we have realized our weaknesses, that's why the governing party has spoken about a barometer. We said immediately after elections, we will be actually taking the ground running. That is what we're doing now. We made that commitment, we are carrying it now. We know, for instance, Griselda, we didn't perform well, and because of the very issues. After elections now, we said we're going to do something about these things. We're not only going to go to people during elections, immediately after elections. That is where we are. We are here to do them because they still need to be done. We accept the weaknesses before we want to actually start where we left and actually work differently this time.
Minister, I want to stay on that because you mentioned precisely the point that I wanted to get to, was that you talk about acknowledgement of performing poorly in the elections. Clearly, this was the response of the electorate to what they believed was government's failure to handle some of the most critical aspects of what they needed in their communities. Why does it take a dismal performance for you to act, for you to go into communities and come up with a model in order for there to be service delivery?
Well, the most important thing, Griselda, when we realize our poor performance, we're doing something about it. We can spend years trying to explain why did it take this performance to do it. But what matters is that we are doing something about it now, Griselda. We regret that it took so much, but the most important thing, we're doing something about it now.
All right, just to wrap up, Minister, some of these key construction projects that you spoke about, how many more districts and metros will you be taking this program to?
Can you repeat your question, Griselda?
Yes, how many districts and metros, for example, will you be taking this program to assess some of what has been done and what more needs to be done?
Thank you, Griselda. A number of districts have got ministerial champions. I'm a champion of Harry Gwala, but over and above that, because I'm a minister in the presidency, I deal with monitoring and evaluation of the entire country. It means I will be in this district, but my colleagues will be in other districts. But for monitoring and evaluation, I will be in all these districts.
Minister, just very quickly, there's a story that we ran here on SABC News just a few moments ago about, Operation Dudula, and, your thoughts on Operation Dudula and, some criticizing that movement for what others are arguing, is causing tensions between South Africans and foreign nationals. I'm asking you this because you are the minister in the presidency. Your reaction to Operation Dudula, we see it's in the news also today, where some leaders of other political parties are basically saying that they're a non-entity.
Maybe here is the point, Griselda. The message I want to send to our people, we acknowledge the frustrations they have about lack of access to job, lack of access to many things that they are entitled to. How at times they relate that to the people who do not belong to this country. What we want to say to them, that matter can never be resolved by vigilantism. It can never be resolved by illegality. As I'm speaking to now, the Minister in the Labour has already tabled in Parliament, and that is there for consultation, the migratory labour laws that are going to ensure that, the labour laws that are going to ensure that who has got a right to actually establish business in South Africa who's with a South African, what type of skills that South Africa must allow to work here, what type of jobs are only meant for South Africans. That discussion is in there, but all what we are saying is that we will never resolve these matters through illegality, both for those who are in South Africa illegally. We have to make sure that those who are in the country illegally are here legally. Those who are concerned with their presence exercise their concerns legally, because the future of the entire continent will only be possible when at the center there is legality.
Minister, would that then not have been a function? Of course, as you indicate, Labour is trying to look at what some of these concerns are. These are not new concerns by South Africans, and by no means indicating support for any movement. What I'm indicating is that there have been these frustrations that have been on the ground for quite a while, and these are matters that should have been dealt with way before we see what has spiraled onto the ground. Is that then not a failure again of one of your colleagues within the very same cabinet which you sit in?
You see, Griselda, this question keeps on coming. I have no problem with it. But its risk is that it says that if Griselda wanted to have 100,000 rand in her account today, but because of missteps, she's got 20,000, she must do nothing about that gap because she failed to do something about it before. The point I'm trying to make is that we've accepted that we have not done some of these things well, but we are doing something about them now. We've never tabled a law, a policy of this kind. We're tabling it now. I am saying to you, there's an established monitoring and evaluation, which I accept responsibility for, to keep on reporting amongst our colleagues on whether we're doing our work or not. All those things are kicking in as I'm talking to you now. All APP's annual performance plans of various departments have actually been submitted to Parliament. Every one of us, including me, will be actually checked on the basis of the APP that he has committed to South Africa.
The Minister in the Presidency, thank you very much indeed. Mondli Gungubele out there with the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, looking at quite a number of areas, including rural areas where there needs to be a bolstering of service delivery.